Picture this. Caitlin Clark flying off a screen 30 feet from the basket, then burying the shot as effortlessly as a practice free throw. But the defender assigned to stop her wasn't about to let that humiliation slide without a fight. You might want to mark this date in history. It is May 30th, 2024. In only her 9th WNBA appearance, Clark faced the Seattle Storm and immediately started schooling the veterans like she owned the place. The Indiana Fever really pushing the tempo now. Check that hesitation move to the rack. She was slicing defenses with perfect passes and practically starting a global conflict with those deep logo shots. Clark pulls up over Horston and nails the triple. She was completely locked in, single-handedly tearing the Storm's defensive schemes to shreds. When she drained another impossible three, Victoria Vivians basically decided, enough is enough, I am checking out. So she bumps chest with Caitlin and starts running her mouth, looking ready for a boxing match. The broadcast replay shows Clark reacting to a provoke from Vivians that the main cameras missed. But thanks to a fan in the stands, we have a bird's-eye view of the actual instigation. Right after the shot goes in, you clearly see Vivians throw a cheap jab at Clark, prompting the confused, "What is your problem?" reaction. She definitely caught her there. Then Vivian suddenly flips the script, acting like the innocent victim in the exchange. Here is the crazy part. Seattle had a history of trying to bully her, considering they literally smacked her head in a prior game. Come on now, that is completely out of line. Anyway, Vivians got slapped with a technical foul, while Clark used the moment to fire up the home crowd. Although she kept pouring in buckets and assists, the Fever ultimately dropped that game. Seattle won the battle that night. However, Vivian's victory lap was short-lived because Clark circled their next matchup on the calendar for a serious revenge tour. Just take a look at this intensity. 3 minutes into the rematch, Caitlin was attacking defenders like she had a personal vendetta against them. Moments later, she delivered back-to-back dimes to Lexi Hull right at the rim for easy points. What a feed by Clark. Hull finishes the layup. Beautiful. Then she drives right into the teeth of the defense, leaving 5 Seattle players standing around watching her score. Following that play, Clark decides to toy with her opponent, shattering ankles with a vicious step-back move. That is just cold-blooded. She was in total rhythm, throwing full-court touchdown passes that would make Patrick Mahomes jealous. Then she went absolutely supernova. 2 3-pointers in a row, a soft floater, and a massive block on the defensive end. Shot rejected by Clark. Goodness gracious, this arena is electric. This was far from a regular season game for Caitlin. This was a statement. She spent the fourth quarter punishing Seattle. Whether she was creating shots for her squad or taking matters into her own hands, Clark's influence was undeniable as she powered the Fever to a 92-75 victory. Absolutely massive. Caitlin filled up the box score with 23 points, 9 assists, 5 boards, and 2 blocks. On the other side, Victoria Vivians, the instigator who tried to intimidate Clark previously, had a night to forget, posting a quadruple goose egg with just 1 lonely rebound in 9 minutes of action. Laughter. That is exactly what happens when you try to poke the bear that is Caitlin Clark. And speaking of opponents who tried to rattle Clark, we have to talk about Angel Reese. I know everyone is already tired of hearing about the most publicized rivalry in women's basketball history, but the reality is that every time Reese tries to bully Caitlin, Clark ends up winning the war. In fact, she practically owns real estate in her head. Let me show you the evidence. We all know the animosity really kicked off during that specific moment last season. During the final seconds of the 2023 NCAA Championship, Reese hit her with the "you can't see me" hand wave. It was rubbing salt in the wound as Iowa watched the title slip away. Not exactly the best sportsmanship. Then again, maybe she was right, nobody was watching her. The truth is, millions tuned in not for Angel Reese, but to witness the greatness of the woman from Iowa wearing number 22. That is just a fact. Clark, to her credit, kept it professional. No whining, no tears, just straight accountability. So, give us the scoop on Sunday's showdown between you and Angel Reese. What's the verdict? To be real, I've pretty much ghosted the internet ever since we took that L. The main takeaway, though? It was just an insane battle, incredibly intense and honestly a blast to play. It's a tough pill to swallow that Iowa couldn't seal the deal and hoist the trophy. But the basketball gods had a script flip in mind, serving up a shot at redemption just 1 season later when Iowa clashed with LSU for an Elite 8 rematch. Let me tell you, it was an absolute war zone out there. Pure chaos. Clark didn't wait around to introduce herself, she punched the clock immediately. She buries a contested triple right in a defender's mug, then carves a path straight to the basket to lay it in over Angel Reese. Coming off a 16-point showing against Colorado, Clark turns the Jets on, blows past the defense, and seals the deal at the rack. Boom! Take that with you! Clark kept the pressure on from every angle, and just before the half wrapped up, she unleashed a filthy behind-the-back dribble to slice through traffic for another bucket. Easy money. By the time the halftime whistle blew, we were deadlocked at 45 apiece. Come the third quarter, Caitlin was cooking with hot grease, turning her attention to torching Van Lith on the perimeter. You've got Clark in one spot and Haley Van Lith trying to keep up, but she was basically chasing a ghost. She launches another missile from deep, then pulls up right in Angel Reese's kitchen hand, virtually blinding her, and still finds the bottom of the net. Oh my goodness. Absolutely disrespectful. By the time the fourth frame hit, Clark was operating on a completely different level of insanity, raining threes from every zip code. You could literally see the hope leave Van Lith's eyes as she realized the Clark freight train wasn't stopping. Honestly, what on earth is a defender supposed to do with that? When the clock finally hit zeros, Iowa punched their ticket to the Final Four, fueled by a legendary stat line from their superstar. 41 points, 12 dimes, 7 boards, hitting 13 of 29 from the floor, including 9 shots from downtown. That is simply outrageous. But the rivalry didn't end there. The bad blood boiled over and followed them right into the pros. Yet every single time Reese and her Chicago squad tried to rough Clark up or play physical, Caitlin would just get the last laugh in the W. Even after taking that cheap shot elbow from Kennedy Carter, the Fever walked away victorious. She finished that scrappy contest with 11 points, snagged 8 boards, and handed out 6 assists. Later, when Reese practically chopped her head off, Clark nearly messed around and got a triple-double while securing the win. Even when Diamond DeShields sent her flying to the floor, Clark dusted herself off to drop 31 points, 12 assists, and 4 rebounds. Hold on a second, aren't we glossing over one massive, undeniable fact? I own you. Simply put, Clark had Reese's number on speed dial for the entire rookie campaign. Reese was betting on a new narrative for the sophomore season, aiming to settle the score in the 2025 opener on their home turf. But let me tell you, Clark wasn't interested in charity, immediately draining a deep ball over the towering Cardoso to set the tone right from the jump. She silenced the crowd instantly. On the flip side, Reese was struggling big time, getting her shot erased by Aaliyah Boston and tossing up construction materials. Seriously, what kind of shot was that? Opening the second frame, Caitlin needles a gorgeous pass through the defense to find Lexi for a simple layup. Then she pulls up for a 15-footer that looked effortless, like she was just running drills in an empty gym. As time ticked away, Clark twisted the knife again, burying a shot to end the half with authority. 4 seconds on the clock. Clark lets it fly. Got it! And all I can say is, all right, all right, all right. The Caitlin show rolled right into the third quarter. Watch this play. She finds Howard in stride, threading a surgical bounce pass right through Reese's outstretched arms for a bunny at the rim. Immediately after, you catch Reese shoving Howard from behind just to snag an offensive rebound. With the lane wide open, Clark commits a hard foul to make sure those easy points don't go up on the board. Angel clearly took exception to the contact, popping up to bark some words at Clark as she retreated. You can only call that one thing soft. I mean, considering the beatings Clark has taken from that team, this tap was barely worth mentioning. But naturally, Reese had to turn it into a theatrical performance, acting like she just got sniped from the rafters. Regardless, the officials bought it and slapped Caitlin with a flagrant one for that marshmallow contact. Little did they know, that moment was the beginning of the end for Reese and her squad that night. Listen, Caitlin absolutely ignited the Fever, sparking a massive offensive avalanche in the fourth quarter. She was dishing out dimes on the fast break like it was nothing, while serving up her signature dish, a deep bomb right over Camila Cardoso's fingertips. When the dust settled, Indiana had completely dismantled the Sky by 35, with CC casually posting a 20-point triple-double. And honestly, after that beatdown, Reese and her squad couldn't buy a single win against the Fever. The wildest part is they gave up a total margin of 119 points across 5 meetings, and Caitlin didn't even suit up for 4 of them. Good lord. Anyway, with the Angel Reese drama in the rearview, let's rewind to a game where CC went absolutely nuclear after the defense tried to play dirty. I'm taking you back to February 3rd, 2023, the night Caitlin and her crew squared off against the Maryland Terrapins. Business as usual, she came out scorching hot from beyond the arc immediately. She rips a logo shot to kick things off, then splashes another long-range missile near the 4-minute mark of the first. Pure sniper mode. Caitlin wrapped up the opening frame with 14 points already on the board. But the Terps tried to crash the party midway through the second quarter by delivering a cheap shot to her ribs. Yeah, you can see the impact. She definitely took a hard bump to the midsection there. Watching the replay, that looked like a liver punch from a heavyweight boxer. She was clearly twisted up in agony. You could tell the wind got knocked right out of her, but this Iowa warrior isn't the type to stay down for the count. Once she shook it off and gathered her composure, C bounced back up and started throwing haymakers of her own, spinning behind the back and firing away. Fueled by pure rage, she powered the Hawkeyes to a 14-point lead heading into halftime. She kept her foot on the gas in the second half, emptying her entire bag of tricks, threading beautiful backdoor passes and driving straight to the rack. Then, with the game deadlocked at 76 apiece, C plunged the dagger with a cold-blooded 3 to break their spirits, the pump fake, the elevation money. She took that elbow personally, flipping the switch to finish with a monster line of 38 points, 12 assists, and 6 rebounds. That is exactly the price you pay for trying to push Caitlin Clark around. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more hoop storytelling like this, smash that like button, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe, and let me know in the comments, who do you think regretted testing Caitlin the most? That is a wrap for today, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. Catch you in the next video.